Terence Crawford explains that a former mutual opponent has a better resume than him and Errol Spence. Says it won't matter. July 29th. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. You guys see it. Terence Crawford claims former opponent has a better resume than him and Errol Spence Jr. Says Terence Crawford will meet for undisputed. If you're a boxing fan, you already know that aspect of it. So we'll get into it. Terence Crawford believes Shawn Porter, who has fought both Bud and Errol Spence Jr., has a better resume than the two welterweight champions. Crawford and Spence meet for undisputed July 29th in Vegas, one of the biggest fights of the year. But Crawford believes once the first bell sounds, their respective resumes will become irrelevant. He says, and I quote, this is what he said to payperview.com. I respect Errol Spence Jr. as a fighter, but resume don't mean anything in my eyes because, to be honest, Shawn Porter has a better resume than both of us. It really doesn't matter. Wow. So now Terence Crawford is giving credit after he beats Shawn Porter, but previously he had did an Instagram live on his social media, and he was like basically downplaying the PBC welterweight, saying who they beat. They ain't really beat no one. They just fought each other. I fought Jeff Horn. In fact, roll the clip.
But let's be real, man. Spence only really fought one guy, Kell Brook. And Kell Brook only fought one guy. You know what I mean? And that was Shawn Porter. And Danny Garcia only fought two guys. Well, really one. I don't know, man. I'm different. I just look at, you know what I mean? Like, what have you done? Or what have they done that's so different than me? And they've been in this division longer than me. They fought each other. Okay. So since they fought each other, that makes them, so if I beat Aegis, that makes him a top welterweight then. If I beat, but Jeff Horn was considered one of the biggest welterweights in the division. He never lost in the division. Tell me, then. Yeah. So everybody that I fought should be in the top 6, 7. I'm just throwing it out there because I guess if they fight each other, then all of them considered in the top, whatever, they top welterweights because they get to fight each other. But what about the person that lose? He's still ranked high? I don't get it. Somebody got to help me get it. Because every fight that I done fought, except the Khan fight, everybody was just like, man, you going to whitewash Khan. But every fight that I done fought in the welterweight division, everybody was like, man, you going to lose. You too small. I don't know. Some people, there's a lot of people that, you know what I mean, thought I was going to win. But how I win, that's when they say, oh, well, this guy's a bum. This guy is this. This guy is that. Terence Crawford ain't fought nobody. I ain't fought nobody. Dang. Everybody I fight, they say something bad about him after I fight him. Gamboa was too small. How was Gamboa too small when he just won a title prior to fighting me? I ain't gonna get no credit till I'm done with boxing. For real, I'm telling you, all these fighters that I ain't fought, when I didn't fought them, they wasn't no bums. I was just on a better level than them. Everybody bums in everybody's eyes. Guys, good fighters. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, sometimes, you know, you'll look at a fighter and you'll be like, man, that dude can fight. He really can fight. Then when he fight another fighter that really, really can fight, you be like, fuck. Man, he was weak. he wasn't all that. But in reality, you just got to get that dude that he fought some credit, because he was just the better man that night. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman. Both of them motherfuckers can fight. You know what I mean? But one gotta win, one gotta lose. But you can't say the next motherfucker's a bum because he lost. Put up a good fight. Shit, look at Shawn Porter and Errol Spence. Nobody gave Shawn Porter credit. But when I kept telling everybody it's a 50-50 fight, people was like, Errol Spence gonna knock Shawn Porter out and this and that. All right. Fight come down to everybody. Shawn Porter. See how quick they switch up? You know, that's why I say it's a 50-50 fight. It was a 40-60 in Spence's favor, but the more and more I think with my head and just think back to the Danny Garcia that I know, when he motivated and when he feel like his back against the wall and got something to prove, he always rose to the occasion. Dating back to all the way when he was going overseas and down 10 points, coming back to win. Like, Danny always was that type of person that never gave up, no matter, you know, any circumstances. So, you know, it's hard to just say that Errol gonna come through and bulldoze and walk through him, but at the same time, we've seen a different side of Errol that we ain't been seeing since before he was champion, and that's the hunger and the grit and the grind that he been putting in the gym to get back to the normal.
There's several things wrong with what Crawford said. Now, just for context, that was the week of the Errol Spence-Danny Garcia fight. Errol Spence coming off of a heinous car crash that almost claimed his life, and his quote-unquote tune-up wasn't a tune-up at all. He was fighting a former lineal champion and a guy that's a good fighter in Danny Garcia. To prove he's a good fighter, Bud Crawford told you, I've known him since the amateurs. Danny got heart. He's never the one to bend, fold, or give up or give in, and he just has a style where he wants it, right? And he also said later in that, you guys seen the clip, he said Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia, they can both fight. But what Crawford does is really passive aggressive, and it's all over the place, because he was also complaining and almost trying to get sympathy or credit for his resume for staying on top rank and fighting the names he fought, and saying, hey, I'm not going to get credit until I retire like Floyd Mayweather. But that's not the case at all. Then he was also talking about the PBC fighters and making it sound like fans were only giving the PBC fighters credit for fighting each other and calling them top 5 guys. They were top 5 guys not because they were fighting each other, because they were top 5 guys. If you look at the whole landscape of the welterweight division at the time, these PBC fighters were consensus best. Just like you look at super middleweight, the best fighters there right now, consensus wise, would be Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, and David Morrell Jr., right? So it's not this big conspiracy because they're with the PBC. So it seems like Crawford resents the fact that PBC and the fans are giving the PBC fighters the adoration in a glamour division. And he's making it seem like there's some conspiracy that people just don't want to give him credit. But I don't see that at all. Ugas just beat Manny Pacquiao. He was a champion. Errol fought him. So the other thing that Crawford said in that previous video that I played was that Errol Spence only fought one guy, Kell Brook. Then he says Kell Brook only fought one guy, and that was Shawn Porter.
Let's be real, man. Spence only really fought one guy, Kell Brook. And Kell Brook only fought one guy. You know what I mean? And that was Shawn Porter.
But as of him doing this Instagram live, even though it's an older Instagram live, you talked about Errol Spence fighting Shawn Porter. He said, oh, people thought Shawn Porter was going to get blown out and knocked out, and I told him it was a 50-50 fight. So if it was the week of the Danny Garcia fight, that means it was after the accident. And we all know that Errol Spence fought Shawn Porter before the accident, right before the accident. So that being said, how can you say Errol Spence only fought one guy, Kell Brook, and then say Kell Brook only fought one guy, Shawn Porter, when they both fought Shawn Porter at the time you recorded this video? So you say Errol Spence fought one guy, Kell Brook. You say Kell Brook fought one guy, Shawn Porter, but they mutually fought Shawn Porter and Errol Spence dropped him, which you knew when you recorded this video, but then you said Errol only fought one guy. In addition, fast forward to the future, he's now giving praise to Shawn Porter, who he's saying really didn't fight anybody, and the PBC guys really didn't fight anybody, right? And this was the week of the Danny Garcia fight. So now that we have an outcome, he told you that Danny Garcia was tough and always has been tough, and he said it was a 50-50 fight with Danny Garcia. Errol Spence made that 50-50 fight coming off a car wreck. He made it look extremely easy. So now you add Shawn Porter. You only gave Kell Brook credit for him, knowing that Errol Spence fought Shawn Porter before you as well. And now since that point, he has fought Ugas, who just beat Pacquiao, and the Danny Garcia outcome was delivered. So Errol has stacked up all these names. Now Terence Crawford is saying Shawn Porter got a better resume than both of us. Wow. So basically Crawford was hating on the PBC and trying to diminish their accomplishments, but then he uplifts his accomplishments by saying I fought Gamboa and Ricky Burns and Aegis, Mean Machine Kavalauskas. I mean, this is just, it looks bad. And like I said, now when he's about to fight Errol Spence about a week out, he's trying to diminish Errol Spence's accomplishments, which he's added on Ugas, and Danny Garcia got whooped by Errol Spence. And then he's saying, hey, he don't got a good resume still. Shawn Porter got the best resume. I mean, this is just pure insanity, and it looks like pure hate. And Crawford he seems like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let me know what you think in this video. I'll be back with some more heat, and I'm out.